Good evening, divine feminines, divine fam, divine lovers, all of you that are on this crazy journey called life. First of all, I just want to say thank you so much. Oh yeah, this Dr. V. The Love Revolution with Dr. V, because I feel like love is the revolution, y'all. I think that it is a revolution. One of the most revolutionary acts that we can do is love ourselves and love others unconditionally. And I believe that that's what this journey is all about. Learning how to rise above. So I'm coming to you tonight with a channeled message from Spirit and from your divine masculine for the divine feminine. Now I'm going to give a little rant right now. And for those of you that are listening, just sit with me and hear me on this, okay? Because I mean this with all the love in the world. One of the things that I've noticed in the time that I've been doing readings on YouTube and through Insta is that, for the Twin Flame Collective, is that most people, like the videos that get the most views are usually the karmic partnership videos and divine masculine videos, like what's my divine masculine thinking, and the karmic partnership videos. And you know what, I understand it, because I get it. I want to know what's going on too. We all do. Like, there's definitely that desire and that drive to know what's going on with our divine counterpart and to be able to figure out where they are in their karmic situation. Like, I get it. Totally understand it. But I'm just going to say, you guys, we got to see that needs to, like, really, really, really. If you find yourself focusing more on what was my divine masculine doing, what is my divine feminine doing, what is my what's going on in my divine counterpart's karmic relationship, then you're missing the point of this journey, because it is not about what's going on with them, it's about what's going on with you. And if you're obsessing or spending a shit ton of time focusing on the other person and not focusing on yourself and your own growth and your own evolution, your own process, or you're being on your own mission, then you're actually stunting the process. You're actually stunting it from being able to go forward, because we will not get into union until we are whole as individuals, right? We have to be whole. It's me before we. And so I just wanted to throw that out there, that it's really super important to recognize, if you're spending a ton of time focusing on your divine counterpart, particularly the divine masculine and the karmic relationship or the karmic relationship, that energy would better be redirected to yourself, to your own growth and being in your own mission and doing your own work. If you spent a fraction of the energy that you spend worrying or thinking or wondering about your divine masculine or divine feminine and their karmic relationship, if you spent a fraction of that time focusing on your own growth and your own healing, how much would your life change in the next 90 days? That's something to just think about. So I shuffled. I'm going to go ahead and lay out some cards. So these are messages for the divine feminine from Spirit about really what's going on with you and what you need to do. Focus on your own healing, focus on your own growth. That message came through to me really clearly last night, actually, as I was falling asleep. So I knew I was going to do a video today. I knew I was going to do it all day today. I was busy with my other business, but I knew that this message wanted to come through, that Spirit was really saying, you know, this needs to be something that's addressed. So just an overview with what's going on with divine feminines right now. This card is Illusion. Next one is the Pleiadian Star Goddess. This is the mythical goddess Tarot. The next one is the Child Design card. The next one is Madame Pele. Oh my gosh, I love her. I have a very special connection with her. And this one is Centering, the last card. So with all of these together, I mean, basically, like, I hope you can see the cards okay. So I'm just going to point out the Child Design card is, actually I'll pull it up and show you. You see this child is holding an acorn and sitting by an oak tree. And the message, basic message of this card is essentially that everything that you need, everything that you need to grow into the person that you want to be, that you're meant to be, is already within you. It's already encoded in your DNA. Just like the acorn, just like the acorn has inside of it the makings to make it an oak tree. If that made any sense whatsoever, because my grammar was all sorts of weird, but you have everything within you. So if you're feeling like there's something lacking or something missing, or there's always growth to do. So don't get me wrong, like we always have growth. There's always improvement in ways in which we can continue to evolve. But please, if you're feeling in any way, shape, or form like you're lacking, that is not accurate. You have everything that you already need within you. This card is a wind card. It's an illusion. It's an illusion, and it's number 10, which reduces to a 1, signifies new beginnings. But what this card is, if you look at this character, like she's all bundled up. She's got this like major raincoat, big umbrella, and there's this little tiny raincoat. So what this is saying is that you're making a mountain out of a molehill, essentially. So it's like you are seeing things as worse than they actually are, and it's something that it's literally in your mind. So it's like if you're spending a ton of time, again, as we're talking about this, focusing on the karmic relationship that your divine counterpart might be in, you're making it bigger than it is. And so when you drop this illusion, you'll be able to move into that new beginning. You stop focusing so much on that and focus more on the things that Spirit would like you to focus on, which is your own growth, your own evolution, being a force for love in this world. But whatever it is that you're, imagining, the outcome that you're expecting or what you're imagining is an illusion that you're creating in your mind. And so it's something that you can work with. Excuse me. The next card is the Pleiadian Star Goddess. So if you're not familiar with this deck, the purple cards mean they're major arcana. Okay, so let me pull this up for you. I want to read from this one because these are really important. The Star Goddess is a gift of life and destiny, her celestial hands reaching out and blessing to everyone on earth. Her hair is loosed, a symbol of her free-flowing power and strength. She is the guiding light of hope and serendipity, bringing clarity and spiritual vision. The star of light radiates from her heart, illuminating her core starry essence. She is the very essence of beauty and inspiration. Her celestial compassion is here to awaken your heart to ascend to your highest stellar path on earth. She sparks in you your divine purpose with confidence and vision. The Star Goddess is the Aquarian star of destiny, letting your self-esteem and sense of purpose rise to meet her in accomplishment of fulfilling your destiny. It's literally what we're talking about here. It's like when we're in that space of, oh my gosh, what's going on with my divine masculine? What's going on with my divine feminine? What's going on in their karmic situation? It's a sign that we're believing in lack and that we don't have enough faith, and that we're thinking that something is going to end or something is going to come, that it's not going to work out. We're worrying too much on that. And that is, honestly, I feel like that can be an indicator of not feeling your own sense of self-love and self-worth, and not having just the faith that all things are going to work out. You just have to trust in divine timing. And I know that's hard. I know it's much easier to say than it is to do. But as a person who's been on this journey for quite some time, I can tell you that it is possible. It is possible to release and to let go and to release expectations and to live in a place of peace and trust and release the anxiety and all of that other stuff. But it requires deep love for the self. Like, that literally is where you have to start, this deep love for yourself, where you're like, you know what? I love myself so much that I'm not even tripping on what this dude or what this chick is doing. Like, I'm just like, I'm doing me, I'm living my life, I'm in my purpose, I'm making an impact in the world. And I would love if my divine counterpart came back, like, that'd be awesome. But if he or she doesn't, like, I'm gonna be good either way. So Madame Pele, I actually had a divine encounter with Madame Pele when I was in Hawaii last year. Just very, very deep connection. So every time she shows up, I feel just this affinity for for her. But she's a purifier. You know, this process is about purification. I just posted a blog on Medium. I'll post a link in the description box about it. That this process is really about purification. It's about taking us through the refiner's fire, burning out all the impurities so that we can become more and more pure, more and more divine, more and more like God, more and more capable of being in unconditional love. And as long as we're not focusing on that, and as long as we're focusing on what the other person is doing or other things, we're missing out on the gift of this. So when Madame Paley shows up, she's like, look, I'm about to burn away everything that doesn't serve you. But the great thing about that, and a lot of people resist the purification process. They're like, oh, I don't like it. It doesn't feel good. But what you have to understand is that it's sometimes necessary for the new growth. I just heard a story read a story about, there was a place that there was like a massive forest fire. And after the forest fire was over, it was like shortly after, like these flowers that hadn't bloomed in this particular area for like decades started blooming again. And people were like, wow, what is going on? Well, it turns out that the seeds that were for those flowers were buried in the earth, and the pressure and the heat of the fire caused them to open, which then caused them to bloom. So sometimes in order for new things, new flowers, new growth to show up in your life, there first has to be the purification. And Spirit is saying, like, you know, let it happen. Don't resist it. Just be with that and allow it to happen. And this card is the centering card. It's, you know, I mean, it's really self-explanatory. I don't really need to explain this a whole lot. This is literally about you getting center with yourself. So I'm thinking of that song by Fergie, Me, Myself, and I think is what it's called. And or Big Girls Don't Cry is what it's called. And she says, I hope you know this has nothing to do with you. It's personal, myself and I. We've got some straightening out to do. And that is what Spirit is saying to you, is like, you know, there is some straightening out that we all need to do. This is certainly not any kind of like finger pointing, because trust me, I have my own stuff to work out. I have my own things that I'm developing and growing, and everybody does. It's part of being human. So don't take this as like, oh, I'm so effed up that Dr. V is saying I need to do it. No, we all have work to do. We all have growth to do. The point is doing it. The point is allowing ourselves to get centered, to get quiet, to get into that space, to be able to do the work that we're being asked and invited to do. So that's the overall energies right now. I feel like there's some messages from the Sacred Rebels that want to come through around this, because this is really a rebel's journey. You know, because staying in conventional relationships, staying in like karmic situations where it's easy and it's comfortable and you don't have to do anything hard, you just have to, you know what I mean? Like, not that staying in an unfulfilling, unhappy, or, you know, unfulfilling relationship doesn't have its own difficulties, but, you know, it's one thing to follow. I mean, it takes true courage, and it really is truly the revolutionary path to follow your heart. To follow your heart and to live your truth, to speak your truth, to stand in your truth regardless of what anybody else in society says, really is a sacred rebel's journey. And it's something that we have to honor within ourselves, that our souls chose this path. You guys remember this. Like, those times when you're like, this shit is hard, I hate it, this sucks, why am I doing this? Just keep in mind that we chose this. We chose this. So, Spirit, what are the sacred rebels? What does the sacred rebel in each of us need to hear? Okay. Number 23. The artwork on these cards is beautiful, by the way. I absolutely love it. Number 23. This is the Sacred Rebels Oracle deck Oracle cards by Alana Fairchild. And I love her messages, but they're really long, so I don't read all of them, because otherwise we'd be here all night with me just reading these messages. It says, beneath the illusions, okay, so we just had an illusion card pulled up earlier, so just keep that in mind. Beneath the illusions, pretty as they may seem, you know what is real. Beneath the lies, sweet though they may sound, you know what is worthwhile. All that is genuinely and truly essential for the heart to throb with life is worthwhile. Anything that dulls it or suffocates its vibrant aliveness must be questioned, challenged, and more than likely cast aside, for the heart is our key to living authentic life. What is there once that is compromised? Without its foundation of truth, we are to be forever lost in confusion, doubt, and despair. You are a sacred warrior, a defender of the heart. You have cried genuine tears of your own grief and also the grief of the world. You have raged at injustice and oppression in your own life and in the world. You have felt the need to protect the presence of love, for whilst it's exceptionally powerful, it can easily be smothered under lies and fear. The sacred warrior must not heed the dangerous voices that say, oh, stop being so sensitive, stop making such a big deal out of things. Love is the biggest deal there is. What else is there worth being so sensitive about? The sacred warrior is vigilant that the presence of love is not chipped away by fear, criticism, doubt, or untruths. Even if others find the unflinching honesty of your feelings difficult to handle, even if those feelings are expressed with gentleness and compassion, the sacred warrior honors the task of being more faithful to love than anything else. This includes the fear of loss. It actually includes the fear of anything else. So this is what this is saying. The card is that literally says, honor even the smallest steps on your path as a sacred warrior. They are no less important than the more noticeable and dramatic actions on the path. One single misstep can begin a landslide of great devastation. Be vigilant with what is meaningful and what is truthful, even in the smallest and most seemingly insignificant ways. So, this card is saying, stay strong, stand your ground. This might be a big emotional journey that feels like the fight for your life. Hell, yes, this is a big ass journey. However, the point is that this journey that you're on in so many ways is about, yes, standing for love, standing in the truth of the love that you know. Like, you know that this is real. Like, you don't give in to doubt and fear. Like, if you know that you know that you know that this is the path that you're meant to be on, don't give in to fear, don't give in to doubt. And that goes for these things like, but he's still with his karmic partner. She's still with her karmic partner. How am I supposed to have faith when like nothing on the surface seems to be happening? Well, remember that a lot of shit happens beneath the surface before we ever see it manifest. I think about being a mom and having my first baby. I mean, I think I was 26 or 20. Actually, I was probably closer to 30 weeks pregnant, actually. Before I even started to show, I could feel him. I could see him, but it wasn't visible to anybody outside of me. If I was you're just walking around in a regular, around at the grocery store, people might have, some people might have wondered, but by and large, I looked the same. I was literally wearing the same jeans from before I was pregnant up until about, I think 28, 30 weeks. I just wasn't showing at all. So there was a full life growing in me, a whole baby developing, and you couldn't see it. So this is what, so I say that to say, keep that in mind, that just because you're not seeing it happen on the surface doesn't mean it's not happening. That's why we do these readings, so we can understand the energies that are going on. Because if we just looked at what's happening in the 3D material world, we might be like, this is crazy. This whole journey is freaking crazy. It doesn't make any sense at all. But the point is that we have to trust the universe. We have to trust that the divine is working on our behalf. And listen, pay attention for the signs. Look for the synchronicities. Like I told you about my pink flamingo. So look for the synchronicities. Look for the signs. I'm thinking about the fact that I spoke to my DM earlier recently, and he used the phrase karmic debt. Never heard him say anything like that before. I was like, huh. And it was interesting, just the context, because it stood out to me, because I understand. It was significant to me because I understood that whether I see it or not, whether it looks like it on the surface or not, the spirit is behind the scenes doing stuff, and I just have to keep trusting. So that's what this is saying. Don't give in to fear. Don't give in to doubt. Don't obsess. Focus on love. Seriously focus on love. Write love letters. Send, do good. Send love out in the universe. Do whatever you can to be a force for love. And it'll help you not to stay too obsessive about this journey. and it'll help you in your own evolutionary process. So now I just got this deck, and I just have to share it. I just have to pull some cards from it because I freaking love it. It's probably one of my favorite decks. And I won't use it in all the readings, but I'll use it when I feel led. And I feel led because it actually wasn't supposed to arrive. I ordered it until tomorrow, and it got here today. And like I told you last night, I knew last night falling asleep that I was going to do this reading today because the universe was really speaking to me about this. And saying, like, you know, we need to have a conversation with these divine feminines out here. And so the fact that this deck showed up today is not insignificant. Oh, that one just jumped out. Okay, and what's interesting is that as I was dropping, as this card jumped out, I really felt like this is what the message that the divine one of the messages that the divine masculine wants to convey to you. And it's, the message is, you're the shit. And it says, don't forget it. Okay, so I'll put that there. And then I feel like there's a message that, another card that wants to come out. So I'm going to just sit with it for a minute. Spirit, is this from you or from... Yes. Okay, this one jumped out. This is the message from... I love it. This is the message from Spirit, for your Spirit, your higher self. Stop fucking whining. No one wants to listen to that shit. Complaining makes you weak. You have the strength to change your world, so do it. So this is like your divine masculine wants to remind you that, you know, they still think you're the shit. And the universe is saying, like, stop whining, man. Like, stop focusing on the, you know, what's not happening, and stop being all, like, super obsessive and, you know, thinking about all the things that aren't happening or whatever. Like, literally stop whining. Focus on gratitude. Focus on goodness. Focus on evolution. Focus on growth. Take all of that energy that you feel that you get caught up in, that sadness, that the doubt, the fear, the wanting to obsess about him and your divine masculine and their karmic, all of that stuff, and focus it on good stuff. Like, find a fucking book that you want to read. Find 10 books. You know, find, I don't know, man, shit. For most of I think about, like, a lot of the people that I've known on this twin flame journey, and like the amount of time that is spent like obsessing about this and like focusing and like, you know, listening to, not that there's anything wrong with listening to readings, don't get me wrong, like I think it's great. But I know people that literally will spend like hours and hours a day listening to readings and not getting anything else done. And it's like, if you find yourself getting into that space, then just be mindful of that so that you're not, you know, continuing those cycles. So, wow, okay. Interesting. I felt led to pull some cards from the Lover's Oracle as messages, find some couple messages, and I literally had two cards that just like jumped out. So the energy is real right now, you guys. I feel like we're just in a testing ground. We're in a testing ground. We're in a growth phase. So for those of you that have felt a little bit obsessive or felt a little bit like you've been spending too much time worrying about this or haven't been in faith, like, I really challenge you to just get some, you know, focus your energies elsewhere. Like I said, go to the library, get some books, just do something different. Focus, work out, meditate, focus on you. There's a quote, you of all people deserve your own love and affection. So love yourself the way that you would want your divine masculine to love you in union. You know, if it's like buying yourself flowers, if it's like, I want him to, you know, run a bath for me and put some Epsom salt and some essential oils, light a candle, put some incense in the room and really make it a peaceful space. If that's what you would like, if that would be a gesture of love from your masculine to you, then by all means do that for yourself. Okay? So I'm going to set these aside. And these are some messages that came through from the Lover's Oracle. The first one that came through, it's this one. Let there be closeness between you, but always give each other space. Love never claims, it simply allows and gives. So, I mean, very, very clear message with that, right? It's like, this is a time where there needs to be some space, and just give the space. It doesn't, you don't have to be, you don't have to shut yourself off or close off. Be receptive. The feminine is receptive. Don't chase, just be receptive. If your masculine reaches out to you, be kind, be compassionate, but let them have their space. Like, I feel like a lot of masculines are going through a lot of transformations right now, and the shifts are big, and it's requiring a lot. A lot of paradigms are shifting, and a lot of things are changing. So anyway, the next card, really beautiful artwork, and it says, beware of what you're projecting, for the qualities you admire in one another are qualities you both possess. Equally so, the qualities you don't like are also your reflection. That's literally what we were just talking about. This is saying, like, that card is saying to you, look, if I feel abandoned by my divine masculine, I always go within. What is it about? Like, what is this telling me about me? In what ways have I abandoned myself? In what ways am I not showing up for me? If I feel disrespected, well, what ways am I disrespecting myself? If I feel unwanted, in what ways am I treating myself as though I'm unwanted? If I'm feeling whatever it might be, in what ways am I reflecting this back to myself? And I look within and I do the work to heal it so that that's not an issue anymore. And that's what we have to do, is like recognize what is this behavior that my counterpart is engaging in, telling me about myself, and what is it pointing to in me that needs healing? And also, what am I putting on them that is reflecting something on me? So if you find yourself being like really critical or harsh or judgmental towards your divine masculine, it's probably something that you do to yourself as well. And trust me, even if you're not saying it, even if all your communications are loving and kind and whatever, but you're in your head, you're feeling like angry, and you're feeling resentful, and you're feeling like, this guy is a jackass and I'm not, or whatever, trust me, they're picking up on it. They can feel it, and it's probably creating a block. So, final card from the Lover's Oracle. It's beautiful artwork again. Time. You're trying too hard. Give it time. Yes, that is so clear. Thank you, Spirit. It's literally about you guys like loosening up the reins. Like, let's not try so hard. That song by Colby Kelly, you don't have to try so hard. Don't try so hard. Recognize that even trying is a form of resistance. We have to be in a space of allowing. So focus on yourself. Send love, do your twin flame healings and meditations, and send love and do all of that stuff, of course. But do that for yourself too. Love yourself the way that you want to be loved. Love yourself in divine ways so that you can magnetize what it is that you want to bring into your life. Thinking of that Justin Bieber song, you should go and love yourself. I just like the chorus part, that part. You should go love yourself. You should. We all should. Buy yourself some flowers. Treat yourself to a nice dinner. Get dressed up and go out on the town if that's something that you like to do. Go for a hike. Get your toenails painted. Get a facial. Whatever it is that makes you feel loved. Get some coffee or some tea and hop back in bed and snuggle up in your warm bed and read a book that you want to read if that's something that makes you feel loved. I mean, seriously, like, set the room, put some candles, some rose petals, whatever, and masturbate. Set the tone. Really love yourself. That's really the message that keeps coming through. So I'm going to just pull one final message from the Sacred or Mystical Shaman Oracle, sorry. And it's the Circle in Reverse. So let me grab this book. I've never drawn this one before. In all of my readings, this is the first time that I've ever drawn this card. So it feels particularly auspicious right now. Oh my gosh, seriously. Okay. I know that I always sound surprised, and I'm not surprised. I'm just excited. Like, Spirit's so good. When the circle comes as your medicine, you're meant to come to an understanding of the importance of decay and letting go, the importance of dying to an old form and being born anew. If you are faced with the challenge of loss or disappointment, remember this: in the circle of life, nothing is ever wasted. Love will seek itself again, prosperity will come from a new idea or opportunity, and Spirit always waits for you to find your place in the dance again. So this is about, you know, this whole reading, and basically the message that Spirit wants to convey is essentially that this is about what you're learning right now is the language of letting go. There's a book called The Language of Letting Go, and it's about codependence. The author is Melody Beattie. If you haven't read it, it's absolutely fantastic. I recommend it. Local libraries probably have like 10 copies. But anyway, this is about breaking those cycles, breaking those patterns of codependence, of neediness, of not having faith, of wanting to have all the answers, wanting to be in control, all of that stuff that we tend to do when we're in these kinds of life-altering circumstances that feel really, really big. So this is like let go. And like the card said, love always seeks itself. So have faith and trust that if this is meant to be, it's meant to be, and it will come to pass. And in fact, the sooner that you let go and release and do your own healing work, the sooner it will help it come to pass. So as paradoxical as that might sound, because you don't let go and you don't heal for the explicit purpose of bringing your counterpart back, because then that's still expectation and agenda. You heal because that's what Spirit's telling you to do. And as you heal, as you heal, you evolve, you release attachment, release expectations, and just learn to love as God loves. It brings your counterpart closer and eventually back. So that's all I've got for you guys tonight, you ladies or feminines. I realized earlier I kept saying divine masculines or feminines, but this reading is specifically for the feminine collective. So if you have any questions or you'd like to schedule a private reading, please let me know. I do have limited space for readings weekly, but they're, you know, I get really great feedback. I've never had anybody unhappy with the reading. Not to blow my own horn or anything, but if you want some really insight and you really want to get into this journey, I'd love to be your guide. So again, thanks for all the subscribes, likes, shares, comments. I appreciate it all. Let me know if this reading resonated and if you have any questions for me. I'll talk with you all soon. Bye.